Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Matt. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm all about music and guitars, and I'm in a little bit of a different location currently than my usual spot of behind the desk or studio, and that is the Great Barrier Reef. I don't know how I ended up here. Just kidding, I do. We're on vacation, it's fun. Beautiful. Regardless, had some downtime and I figured I'd edit the third episode of the trade series. For those of you that are not familiar with the trade series, I started with an $100 guitar and I'm trying to flip my way up without spending any cash, trying to see how high I can go, or the most expensive guitar I can get from that. But in my last episode, I had an LTD EC330, came to me in rough shape, did have to put a little bit of money into it to fix it up. And this episode, which is the guitar we traded that for, is something wild. By wild, I mean a Zakk Wylde Epiphone custom Les Paul Bullseye, a beautiful guitar. The EC330 resale value was about $300 US. This Epiphone is about $1,000 US. So somehow, whether it's through the pictures or the description, we managed to convince somebody that he should trade us his $1,000 guitar for our $300 guitar with no cash on top from my end. Insane. So this Les Paul, of course, doesn't come without its downfalls. The hardware was fairly oxidized. It did have a hairline crack in the top next to the switch. Looked like something had potentially spilt on the guitar. It was very grimy. But in this episode, we're gonna address all of that and try to get it cleaned up and looking its best. So unfortunately, I did take some videos of the initial condition of the guitar when I received it, but of course, in Matty fashion, I overwrote those files. Yeah, you guys unfortunately no longer get to see it, which is why I'm making this video now. You didn't miss much, it's just the condition, but I will show some photos here of what the seller sent me. You can kind of get an idea for how it was looking when I first got it. Where we're picking up now is when I'm initially addressing the hardware of the guitar. Like I said, it was a bit oxidized, so I decided the best route to clean it, because it is gold coated, was with some jewelry polish cleaner. Yeah, you guys can come along the journey for episode 3. So one thing I'm finding interesting is it's not stripping any color at all. All of these oxidation marks, they're buildup of like sediment or something, sweat, dirt. They're not going away really on their own. I've had these in here for probably a little over 5 minutes now. But I'm finding that if I take a pick and I just slightly scrape at them, they are coming up. So I'm gonna keep at that and see what I can get done. Okay, so I took them out after just about, I'd say 6 minutes. And honestly, I don't know, what do you guys think? You think that's worth it or not? I definitely think something happened. I can't tell because I've been working with them and I've seen gradual progression, I think. See, I think this cleaned up a little bit. If you're in this situation before chucking the hardware, if your wife or your girlfriend has some jewelry cleaner or you have some, give it a shot. Maybe it'll work well for you. So because I was happy with how that worked, I took the tuners off and the truss rod cover. Looks like the truss rod cover was maybe attempted to be cleaned. As you can see, I don't know if you can tell, there's a little bit of silver. Obviously we can't just put these tuners in there. So what I will do is take the knobs off and then maybe try to just rub some of the solution on the outside of the actual mechanism of the tuners and see if that helps. So let's get doing that. So these are essentially just the metal pieces that don't have any gears in them. I'll let those sit for a little bit and I'll start unscrewing the tuning knobs. So that's most of them. All right, we'll let those sit. Okay, so with these, I'm just gonna take some of the mixing solution, damp cloth, just rub them on the outside, see what happens. So yeah, I don't know if that did anything. Again, I can't really tell. But obviously it's still a little bit of the oxidation marks, so not sure how much more aggressive I'm willing to go with some of the heavier compounds, but that's not too bad, I think. It's tough to really tell. So I mean, this is kind of hard to show, I think, but it's shiny now. I think if anything, they all kind of look like this too. I think they all kind of have that oxidized but clean look. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm gonna get some grime off of this. Satisfying. So the plan is we're gonna try to get the switch removed so we have access to just the finish and there's no screws in the way or anything like that. I'm just gonna flip this over. So worth mentioning, I'm not convinced this is gonna go great. I'm just using some rubbing alcohol here to try to see if I can clear out something. And a little bit. Q-tip had isopropyl alcohol on it, trying to clean out what I can. All right, so let's tape everything off that we're not gonna be trying to super glue. All right, taking any and all bets. Will this work, or am I gonna make a big mistake? Alright, I think it helped a little bit. Alright, so now we're just going to do a little bit of wet sanding. So I'm just finishing up with 3000 here, and it's still noticeable. I think it's definitely better. Real problem is, if I continue to sand down, you could risk going through the paint. I'm not convinced that this stops at just a clear coat. What I might do is hit it with some Meguiar's compound, just to see where we're at. Just gonna try to get some of the dust out. Next up is this stuff, Meguiar's. This is an ultra cut compound. Should do a good job at getting this shined up a bit. You really should use a microfiber cloth, but all of mine are dirty as hell, and I just kind of want to do a proof of concept first. So you can still see it, right? I don't think that's ever gonna go away, but I think it's better than it was if I have to do this to get it at the perfect angle. Tough to say. Went over the body quickly with some Meguiar's. Tried to shine it up a bit. That's looking pretty good. Tried to get some of these the white bindings back. It's still a little bit chalky looking. Rehydrated the board as well. And I think that's looking pretty decent. Okay, and these, we'll probably just end up replacing these. Get a whole new set on there. Something I'm gonna do too is, just for the visual effect, is replace these corroded pickup ring screws. Those are really in there. Wow, that's rusty. Yuck. And these, luckily, I had to replace in my last build too, so I have some extra screws. Ew. Oh no, is this one stripped? I think this one's stripped. That'll be the last one I try to get out. Okay, God, this one looks torqued. I do not have the facilities for this, big man. Maybe. If I go slow, apply a bunch of pressure. Oh boy, a nice fat flathead. No, even that's too fat. Oh Christ. This is bad. Maybe I should have just left it alone, huh? But no, we gotta make it look pretty. Oh, God damn. Okay, rubber band method, let's give it a shot. It ain't working. That is so stripped. So with my limited set of tools, I am doing something really stupid, which is digging down with just the flat edge of a flathead screwdriver tip, hoping to strip it so much that I create a valley in the screw or something to catch hold of. I'm just spinning it back and forth So it's eating downwards. This is so rudimentary. Well, there you go, folks. If you're stupid enough to believe in a stupid idea and you're just persistent enough, it just might work. Oh, I cannot believe that worked. Moral of the story, believe in yourself, even if it sounds like a stupid idea. God damn. Okay, now for the more fun part, hopefully. Compared to that. All right, let's get this thing strung up. Gonna use some 9-gauge NYXLs, just want to headline around. Let's do it. One thing I like to do too is add a little bit of lubricant to the bridge and the nut as well. Right there on the saddles, each one. And then we'll do the same thing for the nut slots. All right, so now we're gonna try to get the action right. That's spot on.